Hey everyone, and welcome back to Xadmin channel. Ever you wonder what actually happens when an Angular component is created, updated, or destroyed? So, in this video, we will uncover the powerful lifecycle hooks that Angular provides. So, we are diving into one of the core concept in Angular, that is lifecycle hook. So, whether you are building an component rich application or just curious about how application works behind the hood, then understanding the lifecycle hooks is a must, and it will give you a proper idea how Angular work behind the hood, and also it how the application flows. So let's break down in a very simple and a practical way to understand the lifecycle hooks in Angular. First, we are going to see the introduction on Angular lifecycle hook. So for that, you have to imagine a component in Angular is like a human being. So just like a human being is born, like grown up, does things and then die. So component also has a life cycle. Angular gives you a hook, special methods to let you run some code at a different point of time in that life cycle. Okay. So what does a component leave? Or when does a component leave? So there are certain steps by which a component leave. First, you can say first we create a component. So that is a component is created. Second step, component is shown. It means it is rendered in your template. Third step, component does work, like it can fetch some data. It can do you can put some like business logic on it. Fourth step, component gets updates. So like there can be regular updates, so you can update it, right? And component is destroyed or removed. So these are some steps by which the component leave, and this is the life cycle, how the component leave. Like if you see a definition, then a lifecycle hooks are method that allow you to tap into a key component in component lifecycle. So basically, it enables you to perform actions like initialization, change detections, and like cleanup at a specific stages. So it totally depend on your requirement when you want to execute certain portion or certain events when you are initializing a component, or when there is a change deduction, or if you want to do some operation or cleanup with a cleanup specific stage. So for that, these lifecycle hooks will be very important. So in one line, if you want to say, then lifecycle hook will let you run your code when Angular creates, updates, or destroy a component. Okay. Yeah. So like more we will see further. We have a overview of like lifecycle hooks. Okay. So like Angular components have a similar lifecycle hooks, and each serves a unique purpose. So these are the lifecycle hooks or a method declared already in Angular, which will be invoked by Angular when certain condition will be or certain event will happen. Like for example, okay, so first let's see what are the lifecycle hooks or methods are there. First is ng on it, second is ng on change, third is ng do check, fourth is ng after content init, fifth is ng after content checked, and sixth is ng after view init, and seventh is ng after view checked, and last is ng destroy, right? So this is also a very important interview questions where interviewers are very interested to know that whether you know the lifecycle hooks or not, because when you develop a full-fledged application, then these concepts are very much required to be known, because in your real application there will be many requirement will come when you have to implement, means I mean you have to use these hooks in your application to achieve certain requirement, right? So first we will understand, yes, and also in this particular video I will only explain you about lifecycle hooks, And from my next lectures, I will provide you a very deep step by step example with a practical use. So we'll try to create one project where we will see how we can use all these hooks or all this method with a real example or with a real requirement. Okay, so yeah, so first we will see about ng on it. So ng on it, so when it happens, so in this it says right after component created or display. So actually when the component are getting created, then ng on it just get invoked. So just when the component is created, then the lifecycle method ng on it will be invoked. So the component is ready, then okay, so let's say that one requirement. So if component is ready and in the starting you want to load some data, or let's say that you want to do some stuff, or let's say that you want to fetch some data from a API call and then you want to display in a table. So let's say that you have a dashboard. In the dashboard, as you load that page or component, then the requirement is that it should show all the details in a table of a dashboard. So in that scenario, you can use ng on it hook to get invoked any API, maybe which is fetching the details, and then you can display those details in the UI. So this will be the very useful for this like scenario. So this method or hook will get invoked when your component is ready. Okay, so second is ng on change. So when input data to the component changes, let's say that you have a input data which is getting changed, then this hook will get invoked. So for easy explanation, I have written, oh, I got new data from parent and time to react. So let's say that we got a new data. It means some data got changed. Then if we have to do something, then we can use ng on change to do some operation, or we can put some logic if any input is changing. Third is ng do check. So this in hook or method runs during every change detection. So there can be any change detections. It can be manual, it can be automatically. Then this hook can be invoked. So only thing is that you have to implement certain interface and you have to override this method so that you can put your own logic to this method. Okay, yeah, so like in our lecture we will see each hooks in a detail with a step by step with a real time example. Okay, so fourth is ng after content init. So this method get called, means this will get called after content from ng content is added. So we know that ng content is used for adding the data in a template. Okay, yeah, so like guys, if you don't know about ng content, then you can comment it out. I will create a lecture in this topic also, means how to use ng content, what is ng content. But for now you can say that ng content is used to add content in your template. So when you will use ng content, then this method can be called to put some logic. Okay, so I just got my project content, then you can use this ng after content in it. Okay, now next is ng after content checked. So every time the projected content is checked, so whenever your content is checked, then this method is called. Okay, so yeah, so let me recheck the content inside me. Yeah, so it will be used to recheck and then this method will be called. Next is ng after view init. So after component, view and child views are initialized. So in your component, when your view or the child views are initialized, then this hook will be get call. So this is also a very important like method, ng after view init. All right, then we have ng after view checked. So every time the view and the child views are checked. Okay, so every time when the view and the child will be checked, then this method will be called. So earlier was when it was so earlier method ng after view init will be when the component view and child view are initialized, then only it will called. But in this time, if every time view and child views are checked, then this method will be called. So the next is ng destroyed. When you want to destroy your component, or when you want to means remove this component, then you want to put some logic. Let's say that you want to unsubscribe the API calls, whatever you have done, then you can go with ng destroy hook, right? So yeah, this is a simple explanation I tried to provide you to make you understand about this lifecycle hooks. Okay, yeah. So like I hope you got the point. Okay, so in our next lecture we will see every methods in a deep manner with an example. So there you will get a quite means like a quite, yeah, so you will understand better, okay, with an example basically. Yeah. So yeah, so like in summary we can say that if there is an any initialization phase is there, then you can use ng on change and ng on it. So if there is any initialization phase is going on with a component, then ng on it and ng on change methods are used. All right. Now, if there is any change detection phase, or there is any change detection happening, then you can use ng do check method. The next is, if there is any content initialization phase is going on, then you can use ng after content initialize, or ng after content checked. If there is a view initialization phase is going on, then you can use ng after view init and ng after view checked, right? Yeah, so this is like very important. And next is destruction phase. When you want to destroy your like constructor, then you can go with ng on destroy. Yeah, so these are the life cycle hooks and the methods which you can use as per your requirement in your application with a different phases. Yeah, so this is very important. Means you can if say if interviewer ask you when to use ng on it, then you can simply explain him that at the time of initialization phase you can use ng on it or ng on change. Like that, when ng on destroy can be used, you can say like destruction phase, when the component get destroyed, then you can use ng destroy. So like this you can explain it. Okay, yeah. So like I hope you got a better idea about this like hooks method. So in the next lecture we are going to see how we can use ng on it with a very detailed manner, real project example. So till then, thank you. And if you like my lecture, then please give a thumbs up and subscribe for more lecture on this topic. Thank you.